like just that I was doing. Like I was meant to do something else with a bigger impact, a bigger purpose in helping people. And I really had no idea what that was because I was in a business type of role. I went to business school. Although I've always been drawn to like spirituality and I've always known a psychic in my life. I've always known I was intuitive and I had just started dabbling in spirituality and manifestation and all the things. I was like, okay, well, you're telling me I'm supposed to do something else, but have no idea what that is.
Welcome to the Phase 4 podcast, inspired by Vishen Lakhiani and Ajit Nawalkar, co-founders of EverCoach, a division of Vine Valley. In this podcast, we speak to coaches and creatives about where they were, where they are, and where they are going. This is an intersection of what we focus on expands, and your story is your superpower. My guest today is Elizabeth Plancon. She is a certified mindset and manifestation coach. She's a psychic business mentor, a spiritual leader, healer, author, and public speaker. And today we're going to try to talk about all of it in about half an hour. So, Elizabeth, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm grateful for sure. I love what you're doing. It's very similar to the road that I'm going down. I know even our mentors are some of the same people. So this should be fun. And for the Phase 4 fam, you're going to love it. And I usually just begin with tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up in this space?
Yeah, so I mean, you pretty much introduced all the things that I do. I'm also a mom of 2 young kids. I'm married. I live in the Midwest, USA. And how I got here was probably about 4-5 years ago. I really started to have this pull towards doing something else, right? Like just that I was doing. Like I was meant to do something else with a bigger impact, a bigger purpose in helping people. And I really had no idea what that was because I was in a business type of role. I went to business school. Although I've always been drawn to like spirituality and I've always known a psychic in my life. I've always known I was intuitive and I had just started dabbling in spirituality and manifestation and all the things. I was like, okay, well, you're telling me I'm supposed to do something else, but have no idea what that is. And I really just started to open myself up to explore and allow whatever that was that I'm supposed to do come to me. And it really was over the years a process of following the breadcrumbs and evolving, starting over was first developing my psychic abilities, which it just finally was the right time for me to be able to do that. And then studying manifestation and mindset and mastering that and becoming a certified coach in that. And then evolving even more into now of combining all of these gifts that I do have, including light language, being able to help others step into their purpose, into their soul gifts and opening those up for them so that they can be fulfilled and, live out their purpose.
Yeah, I love it, right? You start asking for those questions and it's like the universe will respond. There's a saying in if you don't ask for help, no one will know, right? But the second that you start to ask for help, things start to move. And so now you've been just like, boom, rapid fire going forward.
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk about light language a bit later on. But one question I had, you just said manifestation. I see the book over your shoulder that we can talk about now. But manifestation, like how do you define it and what role does energy and intuition play in it?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. So for me, manifestation is being able to co-create with the universe. And when I say universe, I use God, spirit, source, universe interchangeably. Being able to bring something in from your imagination into your current reality, right? That's essentially, simply put, what manifestation means for me. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. And that's something that Bob Proctor used to say all the time, right? And so, with attaching that or bringing in spirit, God with that is, I truly believe these ideas that we have in our imaginations, or people call them downloads or intuitive hits, right, are coming from source for us to be able to, bring into our physical world. So, like when you get those intuitive hits, and those for me are like random thoughts or random ideas that come in your mind, pay attention to those because it's almost like spirit's way of telling you, like, now is the time for you to bring this into your reality, to create this. You have everything within you to do that. And by using your intuition, you can ask the questions. Okay, well, show me how. Because a lot of us get wrapped up in this, I don't know how to do that, or how do I do that? And they want to figure out how to do that. And if they don't know how to do it, they're like, well, I can't do that because I don't know, right? But when you surrender the how, and for me, I truly believe the how is not up to us, that if we surrender and allow the guidance to come through, either through intuition, from other people around us, relationships, mentors, classes that come into your environment, into your awareness, you will be shown the how if you follow that guidance that comes to you.
Yeah, I love it. The how is none of your business, Les Brown said. Your job's to dream. And that's how I feel about it too. Like it's you over here. Okay, that book I was telling you about before we jumped on, listen to this story. So Deepak Chopra, right? He needs to get this artist to do a cover art for his book. So he tells his publisher, look, can you reach out? His daughter in India tells him about somebody who might work, some girl in Ireland named Suzanne. So he never heard of this person, asks his publisher or the person doing the artwork, can you try to locate this person? Later on the same day, that person is at a party and overhears a guy on a phone saying, goodbye, Suzanne. And he goes, hey, is that Suzanne McCormick or whatever? And he's like, yeah, actually it is. So he hooks up, he gets the number, and he's like, okay, Deepak, here you go. So he calls her, and the guy was in Dublin at the time. And he's like, can you meet me somewhere in Dublin or meet my publisher in Dublin so we can do the cover art? She goes, I would love to, but I'm in Los Angeles right now. And so when he got the phone call back from the guy, he parked in front of a house trying to like organize this. And she's like, I'd love to, but I'm in Los Angeles right now. He was in Los Angeles and he's like, oh, I'm in Los Angeles too. Where can we meet? And so she's like, this is my address. He looks up and he's sitting parked in front of her house.
Oh my God, that is crazy. That's crazy.
Right. And so when he kept going, he was like, that's not intuition. That's something higher. But like, when I think of intuition, I kind of think of it like that, where like you overhear somebody say something, or you get an email or a commercial or a song lyric or something. And these are all the ways God's trying to speak to you to help you get what you've asked for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the universe will conspire in every which way to bring you to your goals and your dreams, right?
Yeah, that's like Paulo Coelho, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So tell me about your book.
Yeah, so 2 years ago now, we released a book called Manifesting with Purpose, and I co-wrote that with three other manifestation and mindset coaches that we were in our coaching certification together. And so we really just wanted to be able to kind of bring out this book that was very fundamental, and almost like a how-to. But the thing I love about our book is that at the end of each chapter, we have journal prompts and, questions for you to put into practice what you just read. So you can actually embody what it is that you read, because a lot of times people will just read a book and that's great. They absorb the information, but they don't really do anything with it. So when you take the time to actually bring it in and implement it and reflect on it, it's going to make it that much more powerful for you to be able to take what we just talked about in the book into action, into your real life.
Yeah, I love that idea too, right? Instead of just reading it, putting it down next, we actually have something, and you have to do the work. That's part of those prompts, is doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with any course and any program, you can sit there and listen, right? And just absorb the information, but without actually reflecting on it and doing that inner work of, how it would affect you and how maybe you want to implement and change to be able to grow and evolve, it makes it so much more powerful when you do those things.
For sure. And then we're going to bounce around, but understanding light language. So for those unfamiliar with light language, what is it like and how does it work as a tool for not only healing, but for activation? I know you're big on activation.
Yes, I am huge on my light language has the ability to activate people. And so, for those of you that don't know what light language is, it essentially is a cosmic, language, ancestral language from our soul. And most of the people that do have light language are channeling it, such as myself. And everyone kind of has a different light language that I've seen. There's people that have like actual words or sounds like almost like speaking in tongue. Mine tends to be more of toning, almost like loud singing and humming. And for me, it's a frequency. I'm basically channeling different frequencies. And when you listen to it, I am helping you shift your frequency to a new level, to a new frequency. Basically, whatever I'm putting the intention for, whether it be a healing, whether it be activating your soul's purpose, your soul's gifts, activating your manifestations, activating, your drive, your motivation. There's so many things that I've done for my clients in these activations, releasing what no longer serves you. But so that's essentially how I use my light language. And the more and more I use it, some words are coming through as well in between my humming, which has been fun. And it's just feeling, I can feel the power and the frequency within me. And when you listen to it, even if you're doing it while you're listening to it while you're doing something, you're still receiving the frequency, right? And, letting that just evolve and grow with you over time.
Amazing. Don't do it while you're driving.
Yes, we always say don't do it while you're driving because we always start off with like getting you in a meditative state, right? Like, so it's better off when you can be in a quiet place and undisturbed, of course. But if for some reason, you just are so busy and you can't just, you can do it while washing the dishes. It's fine.
Yeah. And for those in my Valley family and my lot of listeners here, like that kind of energy work, that world, what you do specifically, Elizabeth, sounds a lot like the Regan Hurley style. Regan?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah, definitely. Her meditations are very powerful. And yeah, there's an array of people that do their own form of light language, essentially channeling.
Yeah. I've heard of it a couple, and I haven't ran into too many people, and it's pretty cool. And activation, it's better. Like it's good for healing too, but I think activation and just, okay, there's a whole nother level that I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly like my favorite thing to do is up leveling you to your next level, essentially.
Amazing. And so purpose, right? We're talking about soul's purpose, why we're here, something big greater. If you're listening to this and you feel like you're called to something greater, it's because you are. So aligning with purpose, how can someone identify and align with their soul's highest purpose in a world that's filled with doubt and distraction and fear?
Yeah, so fear is a man-made emotion, right? It's something that our ego has created to keep us safe. And, it's not always a bad thing. It really isn't because your ego is the thing that's telling you to get out of the burning building, right? But at the same time, it's also what keeps us small and limits us. And first and foremost, I always tell people your purpose here on earth is to grow and to evolve and, really just expand. And you can do that while helping others as well. And also knowing that your soul's purpose may change over your lifetime. Some people are, that are mentors say, I'm a mentor to be this is what I teach. And they teach it for years and years and years, right? And that's their sole purpose, which is beautiful. And there's other people, such as myself, even where your purpose begins to evolve as your awareness is open and begin to level up as well, right? Because if you're brand new into spirituality or like, in your soul's purpose, and we were going to tell you, you're going to be this, person that's on stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, and you haven't even spoken once in public, your body wouldn't know what to do with that. Like it would completely shut it down. Your ego would be like, no, thank you. And you would just be like almost like crippled in fear, right? Because your body can't hold on to it. So that's why allowing things to fold over time and having that patience is really going to allow you to be able to step into your purpose fully because you're growing and expanding as you go along. and it feels safe in your body, right? Does that make sense?
Big time makes sense. I go weekly to practice public speaking, and I still have fear and anxiety inside my body. But it doesn't, after time, yeah, you just grow into it and you become the thing.
Yeah. 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 So really just, for me, it's about opening yourself up to receiving, like we talked in the beginning, the guidance and, the steps, the breadcrumbs that are going to help lead you to your highest purpose of what you're here to do. And like you said, if you're listening to this podcast, you are here for a higher purpose. You're not finding this episode by accident. And you chose to come here to be of a higher purpose, to make an impact on this world, whatever it may be for you. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it as a business, right? Like a lot of people have been stepping into that, but you could also be doing it on a volunteer basis or whatever feels good for you and your soul.
All right, I got you. So this book is called Daily. It's just daily inspiration. Every day you open it up, there's a quote. It's based on The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. So today's says, one of the greatest lessons for a highly fulfilling life is to rise from a life spent chasing success to one dedicated to finding significance. And the best way to create significance is to ask yourself one simple question: how may I serve?
Yes. Oh, I just got chills. And also the what I was gonna say, or what I thought he was gonna say was, how can I give? Right? Same thing, right? That's so beautiful. Well, how can you help someone today and not expect anything in return?
Yeah, and it's like it's everything, right? Because if you're just I, me, my all the time, then that's big ego as well. And then you're stuck in your own sometimes misery, whatever it is. Sometimes it's greatness, but my, me, I is not the way. Like we're here for you, they, them.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So I think I saw that you have an upcoming workshop coming up. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I just launched this year what I call the alignment sessions inside of my Facebook community. And I am bringing in guest speakers, guest teachers, healers to come in hopefully once a week. And if not, I will myself do some sort of session where we're really just giving value. And for me, that is an opportunity to help people grow and expand in a way where they're learning, they're receiving free information, but also to highlight all these different light workers and service workers and, impact makers, change makers inside of my Facebook group. So if you feel called to that, I would love for you to join our group. Again, these are free, like impact sessions. There are trainings, healings on all things. The Facebook group is called the Portal to Aligned Life and Business. So pretty much anything that is going to help you live an aligned life and business. And also I'll be coming out with different workshops this year and different new kind of memberships and stuff like that. So I'm super stoked for this year and what I'm creating.
Yeah, me too. I love it. It's very aligned with similar ideas that I'm doing. I think as we begin to wind down, if this episode resonates with you, please like, subscribe, share. And it's New Year, so we got a new YouTube channel. Phase 4 was always on Next Steps, but now we moved it over to its own Phase 4 podcast channel. So check that out as well. But Elizabeth, I ask everyone this question. So this is the Phase 4 podcast, and Phase 4 in the 6th phase meditation by Vishen Lakhiani is all about creating your future 3 years out. And so where's Elizabeth 3 years from today?
Oh, I love that question. And I love that meditation. I like one of my favorites. And just to like even back up for a second, the one of the biggest things I learned from that was the ability to send love to the world and imagining just blanketing others with love, right? And this golden energy. So that for me was just such a beautiful thing to be able to take away from that specific meditation. But 3 years from now, I see myself, being at retreats, and not necessarily, I don't know if it's my retreats, but maybe other people's retreats where I'm coming in as like a guest, facilitator or a guest speaker. But we'll see if I end up doing my own one day. My past life was a meeting planner. So I still do love coordinating all those things. But I see myself, going around and helping people at their retreats, being able to do my healing work, my activation work, and running, Kundalini workshops. That's another thing that I'm becoming certified in right now is Kundalini yoga. And, just be continuing to serve the world.
Mhm. That's so cool. Kundalini. So definitely like some people hearing this will know exactly what it is and have had Kundalini experiences, but some might. They might have heard of it in passing and not really known. So maybe could you expand on that?
Yeah, so Kundalini is our life force energy. Everyone is born with it, but over time it becomes dormant within us. And so it's kind of like this ball of energy. Well, it's really more of a spiral of energy at the base of our spine. And what we do is we do get Kundalini yoga to help awaken that life force energy within you. So this gives you your gifts, your ideas, your motivation, your just happiness, your joy, you're full of energy, right? So this is such a beautiful thing to be able to awaken within you so you can go out and serve the world to your highest ability and fullest gifts expression of yourself.
Yeah. And it's if you have that experience, like that's one of those genie out of the bottle. There's no going back after that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are like get scared of it. They're like, "Oh, Kundalini awakening, like I don't want to do that." But the thing is it can happen abruptly, right? Through certain situations. But most of us, if you take the time to like awaken it gradually through doing the Kundalini yoga practices, that's how it becomes gradual and it's not a scary thing at all. Can be very gentle awakening and it's just like your whole body feels alive essentially.
Yeah, like every self. So dormant. You said that we're all born with it, but then it becomes dormant. So why does that happen?
I mean, I think many people know that answer, but it's essentially from society conditioning, right? Parent conditioning, and almost like making us small, like always telling us no, right? Like stop get your head out of the clouds, like, get in the real world. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. Like how often as a child are we told no? Right. And so what is that really doing? And I mean, I'm a mom and I, of course, tell my kids no, right? But there's just like, it's like almost like ingrained in us. So we have to almost battle that, I think, as parents. Like, how can we let them express themselves while keeping them safe and, staying in line with the things that we have to stay in line with, right? Like when they say they don't want to go to school and you're like, well, you have to because you don't want to go to jail. You don't send your kid to school, you're going to go to jail, essentially. Like, right? Like, I mean, you could homeschool the whole thing. I could go on and on about it, but I will. But you get my point.
Yeah. And then, so what are some tools we've talked about a lot, but what are some tools that you would use to help someone overcome that part of it before you start going and making the dream life that you want?
Overcoming which part?
Just like, I guess, remembering who you are, deconditioning all the church and state and all the things. And like you're saying, all the no and all the adults and little
Yeah.
this should be seen and not heard and big this don't
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah. For me, it really took studying, like studying books, studying with mentors. Those were the biggest things that really helped shift my awareness and my perspective about those things, right? Deconditioning and how really I have all the power within me to be the person that I want to be. And I don't have to let the outside world and society and my family or anyone, right, dictate who I'm going to be and how I feel on a daily basis, right? We get to decide, we get to choose. But honestly, I didn't know any of that until I began studying and exploring through, reading and working with different mentors.
All right. And so who are some of those mentors or books?
Yeah, so my manifestation and mindset mentor, her name is Kathleen Cameron. She runs the very successful Diamond Academy, and I first learned through thinking through results with Bob Proctor. She was facilitating that program. I've also studied with different mentors as far as learning my light language. And Andrea Franco is a mentor of mine. She is a business psychic coach. And now I'm working with Casey Villard, who is helping me with my, training me in the Kundalini yoga and waking all that up and a different healing modalities with that. For books, I love Neil Donald Walsh. I absolutely love Power of Awareness. And that was a huge one for me, all of those books. Michael Singer, actually, I don't know if you're familiar with his books, but those I loved as well. I could go on and look at my bookshelf, of course, Asking and It Is Given, like all of those types of books are some of my favorites.
Yeah, I love it. I do my own surrender experiment here, and it's produced marvelous results.
Yeah.
One thing I want to tell you a Neil Donald Walsh story, but before that, one thing that everyone listening should take out of this is that it's not just like you're here and that's it. You're still learning and you're growing and you're finding mentors, and a coach has a coach, and you got to continue doing it or else you just become stagnant. So
Exactly.
yeah, I just want to highlight that. But Neil Donald Walsh, so Conversations with God. So about 5 years ago, I'm very early in my spiritual awakening, maybe 6 years ago, and I'm looking for this book, Conversations with God, that I keep hearing about. I never knew who he was. Then I saw him and I wanted this book. So I go into this, like, it was a spirituality store and like crystals and everything, right? Tarot, everything you can think of. And then they had this amazing room in the back. It was all books. So the bookshelves are going, and I'm looking along, and you know how books are stand up vertical, and I'm looking for this book. I don't find it. I get to like the bottom shelf, and there's 5 books horizontally stacked like a pyramid. They're all copies of the book I'm looking for.
Oh, so funny.
Like this, man, it was almost like smack. Here you go. This is what you're looking for. Here you go.
Yeah. And that, I don't even think that book's in print anymore. I can't remember, but I know mine have been all from like secondhand used.
I always like to talk about places on the planet, certain areas. So I went to like Chichen Itza one time, and the energy was palpable. And you were talking about Sedona off that you had there, and I always think the energy in certain places. So I'm just wondering, do you have any stories about energy at certain places on the planet?
Yeah, so thinking about Chichen Itza and Mexico, Riviera Maya, the whole place is kind of like a portal. And I remember we were at our resort one night, and this was the day of that we had been to Chichen Itza. And so, of course, we're talking about the energy there and feeling it with my husband. And for some reason, my grandfather came into my mind. And I've never met my grandfather, but always felt super connected to him. He passed away before I was born. And I said, like, if this energy thing is real, like this was way before I got really deep into spirituality and everything. Like, if this energy thing is real, if this is like, you were connected like this, can you show me a sign? Can you like just do something or give me some kind of awareness? So we finished our dinner. And we went to the lounge where we had private access to. So there was not like, there was like no one in there because it was a private lounge. It was very dead. And the Chicago Bulls were playing in the playoff. And so we decided I'm from Chicago. So we decided to go and watch the game. And in walks this short Italian man. I'm half Italian. So my grandfather would have been 100%, walks in and sits down and says, "Hey, can I watch this game with you?" I say, "Yeah, of course, what, you're welcome to sit with us." And we introduced himself, and he says, "Hi, my name is Vincent." My grandfather's name was Vincent. Where do you meet Vincents like in the world? Like never, right? And I was like, okay, wow, cool. And so we're talking, and I was like, "Oh yeah, like my family grew up in Chicago." He's like, "Oh yeah, I grew up on this street called Taylor." Really? So did my grandfather. Grow up on this street called Taylor in Chicago. Blown away. Never in my life. It was just so amazing. Like I could cry thinking about it. Like that actually happened. Like that he like manifested in my reality because I asked him to.
Wow, that's crazy. That's like that Deepak story where the guy's like in front of the girl's house and you're saying the same street, the same guy, Vincent, and you totally called it in. So, and this is before you were super spiritual, you're saying.
Yeah, this was before I was really into my spiritual awareness and really deep into it. Like, I believed in all the things, but yeah, this was really early, way before that, probably 10 years. So that was really powerful.
That is powerful.
Yeah.
Did you get a Derek Rose a couple weeks ago? I heard Derek Rose was giving out roses.
No, I was like, my mom sent me that, like a video of it. Like there was a line out the door, and I was like, but why? I was like, why? Why? First of all, why is Derek Rose opening a flower shop? It's like, I'm like, why?
Yeah, that's cool. I think, yeah, they retiring his jersey, which is like, wow. But for a player to do that instead of the other way around or some kind of promotion to make money, he just giving out roses to the fans because he loves them.
Yeah, no, I mean it's beautiful. I was just like, you didn't know that he likes flowers like that, and I understand it's his name. And I grew up in a family flower shop. My family owned a flower shop. So we were like, well, why? Why is he opening a flower shop?
Taking away business. All right. That sounds awesome. So thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
And now, retreats, you mentioned earlier that you're going to either conduct your own or participate in facilitating another one. And something, as we're talking about growing and doing the work ourselves, I feel like you went to this retreat last year ago, and when you came back, I see you on the socials, and you're just like, boom, magnified. And like, so did you go to a retreat and did it do something super powerful that changed you?
Yeah, I mean that alone, you observing that is super powerful for me as well, right? To see that change. I did go to a retreat. My mentor Andrea Franco had a retreat in April, the end of April. It's called Men for Magic, and it was a 3-day event with about 100. Actually, it was a larger event. It was with 150 people, but like the energy inside of that room was insane. It was so beautiful. And there was deep inner child work. There was, different healing work. And then there's also like teaching and learning and mastery. And then right after that trip, went to Sedona for a trip with my husband. So, like, combining those two things and just taking time to really feel and integrate the energy was, I definitely noticed this shift within me, right? Like, was like, okay, here I am, and there's no more fear or playing small, of course, which many of us, we think we're doing all the things. And then there's like this new level of awareness being like, actually, you could come out and be louder, even louder about how you serve and help others. So, yeah, that was definitely a big shift energetically for me, for sure.
Awesome. So then again, it's about doing the work. And so go to retreats. When you get the email, go to the thing. If you see me send you an email that says I'm putting on a summit or a conference, attend it. If you see Elizabeth having a workshop for activation and it's calling to you, reach out, attend those things because that's how you grow. And that is the God aspect coming through to here. This is what you want. Here you go.
Right. And I love your point too. And it's basically like you want to keep growing and expanding. It's not a destination, right? This is a journey. Even with your soul purpose, it's a journey, right? The whole thing, the whole life is a journey. If we reach the destination, we're done. Right now, what would be the point? Like, what would be the point left, right? If you weren't going to continue to grow and evolve as we go through life and experience new things. So definitely, like, open yourself up to continuing to learning. And it doesn't have to cost thousands of dollars if that's not available to you right now. Pick up a new book, go look at the free classes. Udemy has tons of affordable, spiritual classes. Just to give you a few examples, if it isn't for you right now to make that larger investment in a mentor or some kind of higher program.
Yeah, 100%. Even just check out our content. Both of us have some pretty good content. And I think the library is the place, man. When someone's like, I just don't even know, I'm like, go to the library and see what jumps out at you because something will. So,
Yeah, my friend just got me onto this app where you can basically download audiobooks from your library for free.
what's it called?
Let me look really quickly.
All right. So I have one called Libby, and it's
Yeah,
same thing.
Libby.
You attach your library card, you can get books, audio books, but there's tons. So do you have another one?
Yeah, this one is called Hoopla. So it's Hoopla.
All right. So that's cool. So depending on where you live, there might have access. Your actual library might not be a part of the program, but there's lots of those out there. And
Yeah,
just, yeah, there's so many places to grow, and the information is definitely out there.
for sure.
So I guess before I ask my final question, is there anything I didn't ask you that maybe I should have that you want to share?
Honestly, I don't think so. The only other thing that, like, I invite you all is to, learn how to tap into your intuition, and really being able to do that because that is going to help you in your path. And of course, yes, many of us are intuitive that are mentors. And, I'm a channeler, so I help channel for my clients certain things that maybe our ego stops us from hearing. But practice every day, just quieting your mind for even 5 minutes and tuning in to receive the guidance. And then also for your manifestations, you can practice visualization and, not to go on and on about it, but that's a very powerful tool for bringing the things that are in your imagination into your 3D reality. So those would be the last thing I would leave you with tools and tips for you to try to explore if you haven't already.
Yeah, for sure. I've been developing my intuition over time. It's one of my affirmations and it seems to come true. And if I learned one thing from 2024, it's that I got a lot better at developing it. Even just going with this, for example, this podcast where I have a list of questions. I never really touch them because I'm kind of just dancing around and following my intuition. And sometimes I ask these questions and I get this crazy, incredible answer. And I'm like, wow. But
Yeah.
and then manifestation. Don't try to manifest a Ferrari or $1 million, $1 billion right now. Start with a feather. Go manifest a feather and watch what happens.
Yeah, right. A free cup of coffee. Favorite thing to do. Go try to manifest a free cup if you like coffee.
All right. So my final question is always, how can people reach you?
So I'm all over social media under my name, Elizabeth Plancon, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and my website is elizabethplancon.com. And you can reach out to me on any of those channels by email. There's the easiest way to get in touch with me.
Perfect. I appreciate that. And Elizabeth, I'm so grateful for your time today. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I so enjoyed our time together.